go anywhere. And then you can pop it into your clear pockets here so that you can see what they are. And then here you've got felt across the top here to put your earrings through. You can do little holes there if you want. Or if you've got hoop earrings, then just hoop them onto the other end of your elastic. So it's handy. It's going to really sort and organise all of your jewellery for you whilst you travel. To be honest, I think I might just use this for my rings anyway. And it's just a very, very handy way of keeping everything. And then it just neatly folds in and then clasps over. These clasps are incredible. They're so easy to use. Whilst this is a detailed make, it's not a difficult make at all. So this could be, if you're just starting out on your sewing journey, this could be one of the first things that you ever make. And that's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. So that's what we've got for you today. Let me see who we've got joining us this morning. I'll need to turn all the sound down and see who we've got, because, you know, I know some of you are busy running around. But here we go. So we've got Betty, good morning, and Susan, good morning. And Nikki, wishing everyone a happy and creative new year. I'm just going to turn the heating off. Yes, all of that. To all of you, my goodness, 2024. What a ride it's been. And then Sophie's here. Good morning, Sophie. How's your new iron? Auntie Lizzie's here. This looks lovely. Karen's here. Good morning, everyone. Jane's here. Happy New Year to you. And Pat's here as well, along with many others of you. So good morning, and hello also to all of you on YouTube as well. Always good to have you on YouTube. I can't get into that on my phone, so I don't. This was partly inspired because I am up and down the motorway, as you guys know, quite a bit. But also, I've got some beautiful jewellery for Christmas. Thank you very much to that there man, and also his little collaboration with Lo. Morning, Lo. How you doing? Look, can't you show you Lo's very, very clever handiwork? Because if any of you are ever after beautiful gift, look. Look at that thimble. Isn't it beautiful? I've got a little collection of them now. I've also got a little button there as well, and I'm just collecting them. They're on beautiful silver bracelets, expandable ones. Really, really lovely. So yes, that, oh, and beautiful ring, is Lo's handiwork. Well, in fact, most of my jewellery, to be fair, comes. When you've got someone whose jewellery and taste you love, you kind of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You just stick with it. It makes life really easy. So off the back of that, I was like, I really need to organise my jewellery. I really need to make sure that the things I'm taking off because these are going on are safely kept. So, once again, people say to me, what inspires you for your makes? Things I need. Simply the things I need. Because here's the betting. If I need it, somebody else out there is going to need it. There is a general need. What do we need for this make? Well, a few different things. Oh, I need to turn the iron on. The iron on is going to be a start. So, a small piece of cork. Now, we haven't put the cork in the kits because so many of you now have got the cork. So many of you have used our 30% off discounts that we've got across the website. Guys, that is going to have to come to an end pretty soon. We're keeping it on until the new year, but you've got to make the most of these discounts. That is going to end very, very, very soon. 30% off. So if I give you an idea that these kits should have been over £20 for today, and they're coming with that 30% off, the Liberty is not even £15, and the William Morris ones are coming in £13 something with that 30% off discount. So the only thing, if you're getting the kit, you're going to need in addition is a piece of cork and a piece of H640. It's not a big piece. It is only 8 inches by 12 inches. It is not a big piece at all. And if you've made the most of our fat quarter bundles, of our half meters with that 30% off, then you guys are going to be in a really good place. And you might have, there's no point in me putting cork in when you've already got so many of our corks. So what we've done for you instead, we've got 3 different kit combinations. We've put in the stuff that you might not have to hand. This is fair enough, you might not have this to hand. And with the amount of cork that I use anyway, just grab that. Just grab your cork separately because we're going to use it anyway. What did we make yesterday? Oh, for example, yesterday's bum bag used a fat quarter of cork. This used a fat quarter of cork. You'd need a ½ metre of fabric because the fat quarter of cork is bigger than a fabric quilting weight fat quarter. But this was yesterday's make. So with what you had left over, you can make this. And they match. And that's beautiful. Or they could match. It's up to you. So, what have we got? 3 different options, colour options for you here. Let's look at the William Morris. I'm going to demo in this one. And what you're getting, I have not assumed that you have sewable plastic. I've not assumed that I've put that into the kit. So you've got sewable plastic in there. Way more than you need, by the way. Way more than you need. Same with the felt. There's more than you need in there. So you could get 2 or 3 easily out of these bits. And then you've got the William Morris fat quarter fabric. You've also got, we've picked out the lovely grey-green colour there for your zip, which goes so beautifully with the pink felt. And then you've got your silver clasp, your hairbands, and of course the screws. These are screw-in. You will need, if you don't already have one, a tiny screwdriver. Now those of you that did the 12 days of Christmas, you've probably got one that's going to fit. Those of you that did the 12 days of Christmas with me last year, you've already got one. And those of you that shop with us regularly probably already have one of these anyway. What are they? They are a really handy tool which have got lots of very small screwdriver type heads that sit in here. So I don't lose these. They're great. They stay in there. The other thing that I can really recommend them for is when you have children and any toys that have batteries and they have those really ridiculously tiny screws. This is the tool that you need. Also works for glasses if you ever need to re-screw things into your glasses. It's just a really handy little tool to have. We've got them on the website, the black ones I think. But yeah, fill your boots. If you don't have those, you will need that to screw these in. But that means that you're not sewing this in. You're screwing, not sewing. Wow, that's early. So how do these work? On the inside, you've got those little holes there, and then there are the screws. And then they come together like that. That folds over, and that's it done. So the ends, as you'll see in a bit, tuck into there, and that just gets screwed in. That is the first bundle. So your sewable plastic, your felt. This is beautiful felt, by the way. This is the same felt that we use for our House of Zandra toys. Just saying. William Morris fat quarter, hairbands. Now, bear in mind that with the discount, with a 30% off across the website, you should be paying nearly £20 for this. This alone should be £10.99. You are paying £13 something. It's like you're getting all of this for a couple of quid. So make the most, that's what I'm saying, make the most of the deal while it's there. Now, if you've got other zips, and these are 8cm zips, so we've got those on the website too. In fact, with this particular grey colour, we do them in packs of 5. So if you wanted to top up there and get some extra clasps, then you've got enough felt and you've got enough sewable plastic to make multiples of these. And don't forget that these should be £10.99 also on your 30% off, so you are getting many a bargain. If you would like to top up, this is what we have in terms of those. We've got them in silver, which you've just seen. And by the way, a lot of these have got protective plastic coating on them. I looked at mine last night. It's like, why does that look bubbly? Oh, it's got plastic coat on. And you know that really satisfying moment where you peel off like a new phone screen? It's like that. So yeah, I looked at it, I bought these in and I looked at it and went, oh, it's tarnished. No, you peel that off. Certainly on the antique ones. So we've got antique ones that you can top up on. We've got silver ones you can top up on. Now this is a sew-in one, okay? This is your sew-in option. You have to sew it in at a little bit of an angle, but that's absolutely fine. I've sewn these in, no bother at all. Why would we go for this one above the other? Because of the beautiful detailing on there, which you can't see under this. So let's just pop that here and see if you can see that there. Can you see the beautiful detailing on there? That's not on the screw-in ones. Okay. So these are sew-in ones. I don't have many left of those. I also have a handful of rainbow ones left. Really not very many of the rainbow ones at all, so they're not in any of the kits. So they are your options. Whilst we're talking straight clasps, there's our twist lock hardware as well. They're great for the twist lock pouches, which are perfect for mobile phones, glasses, all that kind of stuff. I would show you one, but I gifted my last ones at Christmas because they make super gifts. So there you go. You've got your antique, you've got your silver, you've got your rainbow, and then you've got your sew-in one with that detailing on there. They're your options if you are after extras. Who doesn't like a bit extra? Eh? Now, we've got one Liberty option for you, which is, I think, £1.80 more expensive, something like that. But I was so excited because we had just the right coloured felt for it. I was like, well, that works, doesn't it, having that gold felt. And the gold Liberty fabric there, and then we've picked out the sort of taupey colour of that flower there to go for your zip, and then we've brought it all together there with the antique clasp. You've got, of course, your sewable plastic, you've got your felt, you've got your zip, you've got your hairbands, you've got your Liberty fabric. You are all set up, ready to go, which is really rather fabulous. And again, if you get an extra clasp, you'll make two, which is brilliant. Just brilliant. And then this is the kit that I made mine from. So you've got that lovely William Morris there. I love this shade of green. It's just beautiful. And then we've got a sage coloured zip there. And again, I went with the antique colour there because I just thought it was of that same kind of colour family. You see this, perfect with the silver. This one I felt needed the antique. And then you've got your screws there. Sewable plastic, gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Let's get cracking. Guys, I'm going to say this again, 30% off across the website. You've also got buy 2 digital patterns, get a third for free. That has got to come, it's all got to come to an end at some point. We've done it as a clearance because we like to clear so that we're all fresh and fabulous going into the new year. But please do make the most of it. Oh look, I've got a second mic. It's not Jane's show, I don't need 2 mics today. Okay, so all of your cutting instructions are in your kit. I only wrote this last night, so I'm going to have to, and sent all the instructions across to Gemma, so I might have to just refer back to the instructions myself at some point, just to remember what I've said. In terms of sewable plastic, that is all we use. That's it. That's the lot. So you have got a lot left over. So all I can keep saying to you here is that there is a lot left over. Now, let's have a quick look. If I get my stripology ruler out, and then I can subcut into what I need. So I'm going to cut myself these frames with the seam allowance. That's the width of that. So again, look how much fabric we've got. Now I might need a smidge more, but again, there's plenty there. So if you do need to top up so that you can make multiples here, please do. And if you've got kids like me, you've probably got hairbands in abundance. I don't really like those elastic ones in their hair, so but I tend to get them in to do the scrunchies, because they work an absolute treat. Now, bear with me, because this is the bit where I need to remember how big. Oh, so the Liberty should be £21.79 or £15.25 with the 30% off, says Gemma. The Morris is £19.99 or £13.99 with the 30% off. There we go. Right. So let me just see what size. Bear with me, caller. Bear with me, bear with me, bear with me. I just need to remember how big I did the pocket. The pocket. You are going to need, by the way, some tape, some quarters wash away tape. There is no surprise here, is there? At all. Now then, how big did I make this? Ah, there we go. So there's that one. And then let's just trim this up. Okay, so that's my pocket. So I am going to need from here going to need another strip cutting. But if you're making two out of this kit, what I would say is that that will do your pocket and your outer. Then you would use this then and cut this way to then make the binding for your pouch. You'll see in a minute. You'll see what I'm talking about in just one moment. So let me just cut these for us. Here we go. Okay, so you are going to need two 1.5 inch strips. You are going to need, that is your background fabric, your lining fabric. I refer to it in the thing. This is going to be your pocket. So that's going to go there with your zip there. Now, I've used an 8 inch zip. You can go larger, by the way. I wouldn't go any smaller, but you can go larger. You can use zip on a roll. You can do that too. What I would say is any pre-made zip like this, when we place it, and I'll discuss this in a minute, we're going to be careful so that this isn't within the seam allowance, because at some point we will sew the outside down there. So if you are using a pre-made zip, just be careful that any metal bits are not within that seam allowance. That's it. That's easy. It's in the instructions as well. So that's all in there. That's easy to do. Right. Let's now have a look then at how much we're going to need in terms of felt. And again, there's way more felt than we need here as well. So I am going to start with this piece here. We'll do our jewellery strip, and then how big do I need? the other bits to be. Ooh. This is all the cutting. I'm going to want one more piece there, and actually that's going to be a tiny bit shorter. There we go. It's taken what, a couple of minutes, and we've got all of our cutting done. This is honestly, this is not a difficult make. So, where do we start? We start by interfacing. I've used H640. If you've got, it's a little scrappy bit. Oh, that reminds me, we need to probably bring you some more scrap bundles, don't we? That would work, wouldn't it? So, a little bit of steam if you want. We always recommend a little bit of steam with things like H640. It just helps increase that glue flow. There we go. So that's all on, no problems there. Right, let's have a look then at this zip. So this is our pocket piece. And what I'm going to suggest you do is lay it all out like this. We're going to put a piece of tape, top and bottom. This is Quilters Wash Away tape, for those of you that might be new. Good morning to you. And I say this because we have new viewers all the time. So hi, welcome, welcome, welcome. So Quilters Wash Away tape, top and bottom. Like so. I'm going to remove the top bit. And I'm going to flip the zip over onto it so that this top edge there is going in line with that top edge there. This metal piece I'm going to move across so that that's going to be outside of that 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, which means that the metal the other end is as well. Okay, so that's more like 1/2 an inch in, and then I'm going to take the tape off the other end. And by the way, if you're new and you are buying patterns from us, then know that you've got step by step with these all photographed, but also know that the date that we demo these will be on the pattern. And if not, you can always email us and ask us, when did you do what's and what's and what's it? That's what people do. We get emails, where did you do what's it? Or what's that called? Or what? And we always try our hardest to help. We are going to sew that down, turn that through, easy peasy, pocket done, and then we are just going to top stitch that down, and then we'll give it a good press. Okay, let's give it a little press. Oh, I do actually want my pressing mat now. Here we go. Okay. And then this will then come and sit onto here like so. Now then, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 inches down. So I'm going to do it in line with there. And what that means is that I will then have space when this goes on, that will sit into there like that, and I can still open my zip. I've still got space to open my zip. you can run a little line of tape across there. Quilters wash away tape has got to be the revolutionary invention for me in terms of my sewing journey. It just means I'm not faffing about with pins. It washes out if needs be. It's just so usable and user-friendly. I know I've said this a lot because I know there'll be loads of you that will go on Amazon and try and buy a cheaper roll. You can do that, of course you can, but just know that every roll that I've tried off Amazon has gunked up my needles. So I'm very particular about what I get, and I import it especially. So just know that. I'm going to pop that quilters wash away tape also on the back of that zip. So that's basted in place, and then I can top stitch there, and I can top stitch there, and that is that then on my if I can actually get it to switch. There we go. And that's that all on and sorted. Which is possibly one of the quickest and easiest zip and pocket making situations that we've ever had. Now, one thing you can do if you wish, of course, is to just baste up the side here. And in that case, all I would say is when you get to your zip here, hold it together. I would just put a couple of stitches over the end of that zip there, but make sure that you've got, please make sure that you've actually got your zip in the correct side of things, because otherwise that's going to be awkward later. Let's be honest. So we are already, do you know, this is what I find, and then you can trim anything excess off at any point. That's fine too. What I find is that actually the making of these things for me is always much longer, A, because I chat, and B, because obviously I'm making and documenting and taking photos and doing all the things in all the world as I go. And then I come to make it on a show. I'm like, oh gosh, actually, that doesn't take as long, does it? At all. But we've got this lovely zip now that is going to then be next to that silver. And that's going to look so smart. Right, next up, let's have a look then at this jewellery roll. So what we're going to do is press that in half, very, very lightly. It's wool felt, so it's okay. And then run tape top and bottom. Now, what I will need to stock up on in the new year are the snap bundles, the rivet bundles, the Chicago screw bundles. I know we all know that. So as soon as our supplier is back, then I'll get those replenished for you in case you don't already have them. Right. We're then going to, with that tape in place, and again, just brilliant for basting, pop that down there. And again, basting into the middle. As if you were making binding, but obviously you wouldn't use quilters wash away tape for binding, and then fold it up, and we're going to top stitch along the side there that has the two folded edges. And then we're going to line that. So we've got this aligned here, and we're going to pop this on here and base that in place on that 6-inch mark. there, and just baste it within that seam allowance, because that will get sewn in later. So this end then, let's measure in about 1.5 inches. Again, this is just to make sure that we're going to put in a snap. You can put in a plastic snap, metal snap, whatever kind of snap you've got. There was no point, I can't put a snap into the kit unless you've got the various tools in which to insert it. So I'm going to use a silver snap, which is going to go with my hardware. I would highly recommend these snap bundles. When we get them in, make the most of them. They are so good because you've got all the different coloured snap. Ooh, having said that, I do have, oh, that would go with, oh. Either would work there, I think. Either would work. So I know that I'm going to need this to be out of the way. So again, so that I can stitch there, and also so I can get my foot there and not get that caught. So I'm going to make a little mark. Where that needs to be there. These are really good pens. I know that a lot of you have bought them, so well done for that. Why did I get them in? It's a very good question. Why? I got them in for exactly this sort of reason. When I'm working with templates or anything like that, you want to be able to get right up close to the template, so you're not adding any kind of extra anything as you go along. You're not adding any extra width to your templates, so you need to be able to get in quite smart. This has got a nice long thin length there, so that you can get in into tight spaces and areas with it. It's actually designed for carpenters that need that extra bit of reach. But what this does for me here is that when I need to go through, and there's quite some depth there, that is going to work going through there, and I can see there where my hole is to then punch another hole. We had those as a Friday deal. I don't know if they've all gone, not sure. And then we can insert everything that we need to here. So let's get that underway. So inserting the snap, and again, for those of you that have got this, you've got the instructions there. I know someone said to me, oh, I just don't know which bit does what. They come with instructions, so you don't have to guess. I've had kits before where they haven't, and it is confusing sometimes. Hammer that in, but you see that's got a domed finish on it, and this has got a domed finish on that. So when I pop this particular part in, that sits into that dome and is held. This has now got, if I flip it, it's got a smooth side, which means that the smooth button side is going to go there. Let's pop that through that hole there. Twist that over. That then goes on top. Then this piece comes in, sits into that gap, so that when we hammer, it's making the hole that's big enough for that to go in. If you're a subscriber, then you know there's a section dedicated to how to put these sorts of things in. Now, I'm going to cut that back. So there's 1/2 inch clearance there, and I'm just going to sew across there just to make sure that nothing unravels at all. But what it does mean is that we have we've got a bit that we can get a hold of under the snap. So that's where all the rings and bits and bobs are going to sit. Now I'm going to flip it around and we're going to take a look at this bit. Now this is a funny one. We're going to fold that in half. And then find your centre line. And then from that centre, we are going to make the next size up hole. We're just gone bigger or smaller? There. In the centre there. Okay? And then measure out. And mark. And hole punch. If you don't have a hole punch like this, then often in your kits you'll have a hole maker in there, so you can get in and you can punch your holes with a hammer with that. There are lots of different ways to make those holes, or worst case, or easy case, is you just snip a little hole with your scissors there. Now why do we need this? This is a very good question. This is for these bands to go through. So we're then going to thread those into that hole. I kind of high-fived myself when I came up with this, I'm not going to lie. It's like, that's a really good idea. Elastic can be quite tricky to sew into a project. So what I've done here is, rather than trying to twist it to create that figure of 8 shape, that's why we create those little holes. And just line them up so that that top bit there is in line with the top. There. Fold that back over if you want to pull them down a little bit more, or if you want to have them showing, it's up to you, but just make sure they're all a little bit equal. There we go. And then on the back of it, let's pop a line of tape. Again, good old quilters wash away tape. That's going to base that in place. And we're going to place this. Oh gosh, that's a very good question. How far down did I place that? Go back to my instructions. Place that there. And I'm going to centralise it so that, again, when I sew that seam allowance, I'm not going to be sewing over it, and just make sure that that is, yes, that is the same there. And then I'm going to top stitch across there, which is going to give protection to any earrings or loops or hoops or anything that I have in there, and then that's going to provide that protection along there. Or it might be that I want to do bracelets that side and then necklaces that side. It's entirely up to you, but I'm going to sew across there. I'll go back and forth a little bit over each of those just to reinforce those stitches, no problem with that. And away we go. So you can see this really is, let's go back and forth over that. So far we have not done anything that is difficult. If you don't have quilters wash away tape, pop it in your basket. you will use it. Once you start using it, you will use it for so many things. And what that's done, you can see, is neatly stitched that all in line there. And that's going to hold those elastic pieces there. Now what you can do if you want is then punch little holes there for your earrings, or if you want, you can just push your earrings through the felt. That's entirely up to you. So it's starting, I think, to take shape quite nicely now. So we now need to take our plastic. Now, the thing with the plastic, it just means you can see what's in there. If you don't have plastic, you don't want to use plastic, don't use plastic, that's fine. You can find a workaround. I'm going to use sewable plastic because it just means that I can see exactly what jewellery I've got where. So I'm going to pop some tape, top, bottom, front and back. So top and bottom. Front and back. And that's going to make life, again, so much easier. It means that I'm not piercing the plastic with anything other than my fabric. And I'm going to press the fabric as if I were making binding. Okay. So press it in half. And then, just like we did actually with the felt, only with the felt we just use the tape to hold it in place. This time we are going to press this in place, and then we will fold it up, press again. And do that to both our strips. I think this is a lovely gift to give to someone. Anyone who travels anywhere and just wants to take a little bit of jewellery with them, absolutely perfect. Or if they've got a few pieces that they just rotate between and want to keep them safe. And I do think that that is a lovely way to hold things. Or maybe you're giving jewellery as a gift and you want it to come well looked after. So, this is going to go on here, so you can decide which way around you want your binding to go. What I tend to do is take off one side first, pop that in, and adhere that down first. And then it's an easy job to just peel off the back. Press that down. And then we're going to top stitch that in place on both. And I don't, because of the type of, again, the type of sewable plastic that we use, I'm not having to use different feet or anything like that. It sews up an absolute dream. So then we come back to the project. We're going to pop this in place here. I tend to just come down sort of half an inch under there. But again, what I would do, I know I keep saying it, get that tape, baste it in place, and then it's held. You're not having to put pins in it or anything like that, and you are all good to go. There we go. So what we're going to do next is come in from each corner, just mark So we're going to sew along the bottom there to hold that in place, and then on those lines that I've just marked with my pencil, we're going to sew down those, so that we've then created 3 little pockets, so that when you do put your necklaces in or your bracelets or whatever you're putting in there, they aren't then getting tangled together. There we go. So then we've got everything in place. If you need to just trim, I need to just trim that back a little bit there, then do. And trim off the end of your zip, and if you've got little bits of thread that you need to just neaten up and trim off, then do. And then we're going to put our cork right sides together. What I tend to do is just undo that. You can sort of tuck it in there if you want, so that you don't accidentally sew that. Move your zip across, because last night I didn't sew over the metal bit. I've been so careful to make sure that this metal bit wasn't in the way, but what did happen was my zip flipped and my needle went straight into there. I was like, ah, no. So this goes right sides together here. You can clip it, pin it, do whatever you need to do to hold that in place there. Do I have any clips? Yes, I do. Here we go. And again. There we go. And then we just sew down both sides, turn it through, and we're nearly done. Okay. And turn it through. You can kind of roll it and roll those seams flat. And I would really recommend that you you then top stitch down both sides. Okay, so let's do that as well. You can, if you want to, then you can top stitch. Is that caught? If that's not caught, then I am going to top stitch that down and hold that in there. Let's top stitch that down, hold everything in place. So I'm going to keep and again I'm careful to avoid any kind of metal on that zip. And again I'm going to use this just to reinforce everything that needs to be held in place. It's also giving that shape to the outside now of this. There we go. Can do that up now. So again, just making sure and holding any pieces. If you need to get your finger in and just press that seam out, then do, so it's nice and even all the way along. And the beauty with cork is that it does sort of just fold nicely. Again, just making sure that any movable parts that I need to move can move. And then I'm going to top stitch across the top. I will need to, by the way, trim back, and that's completely normal. Don't worry if you're going to need to do that. So just top stitching across here. And then what I will do is just trim these up. So that they're nice and straight. So lining that edge up along there. So that we have a nice even pouch. That can let me do you know what, sometimes you just need a slightly larger. I'm going to draw that instead. There's just something that I'm just, it's on the zip, isn't it? That's why I can't get into there. But that's fine. I can draw that line and trim that back. So now we're ready to insert our clasp, which is fabulous. Here we go. And like I say, there is and this one here. Oh, it's so satisfying. Is there on this one too? Yeah. And then you just slide that over the top there. How smart is that? Here we go. And screw them in. There we go. Now these don't need any kind of adjustment, and they go. That's great. So it's quicker than sewing them in. That's why I think these have always been so popular when we've brought these to our and then the last one here. Now, let's spin this around because there's just something that is ever so slightly different with regard to this end. I've still got the plastic on for a start. Take that off. Right, so we're going to pop that on, take our pen, and we're going to mark where this is, okay, and then just chop that out. Chop it out, chop it out. And when you do so, when you pop that back in, you might have to go in and just neaten up and trim again a little bit more. Trim a little bit more off, that's absolutely fine. There we go. That's the only difference to each end. It's just that. But yeah, what I would say is, guys, make the most of the 30% off on the website because that's going to be ending very, very soon. Yeah, we cannot hold those prices for very long. Next week, we launch some new waxed fabrics, which will be very exciting because we've got some new colorways. So you guys know the story that I've managed to get hold of some of the ex-Barber stock from a company that was retiring. And we've been bringing it to you for the most amazing prices. So whether you make dog coats, whether you've made wash bags, whether, you know, whatever it is that you've been making with them, whether you've made our rather lovely waxed shopper totes, whatever it is that you've made, we've got new colorways coming in. This is the last round of it. I didn't know there was going to be a second wave of colours coming through. I didn't know. I was very excited. I thought that was it, and I was a bit sad. But no, this is the last colourway. So there we have it. That is today's mate. You can give that a little press if you want, or what have you. There it all is. There's your zip pocket there. Ba-ba-ba. Very pretty. Got space for your rings there. And then, like I've done with mine, I've got my necklaces, like I say, they're a bracelet there, clasped over the elastic so that they don't, even if they do come out of there, they're not going to fall anywhere or go anywhere. I've got my earrings through there. You can, like I say, you can hole punch a couple of holes in there, which I did for these particularly large earrings. Let me just show you. There you go. But otherwise, you can just push them through the felt. So whichever colourway, they are two of the colourways. The third is, of course, our Liberty option as well. But then that closes there like that. And that's it made. I am very, very happy with these. I think they make a beautiful make. So that's today's make for you, everybody. Have a lovely new year. Can't believe it's New Year already. It's just ridiculous. But have a lovely, lovely time. Tomorrow morning, gosh, what we're going to do tomorrow morning, we'll have a think, see how our heads are. Yes, there'll definitely be coffee on the go. But we'll join those of you that can manage to struggle out of bed tomorrow morning. Take care. Have a fabulous evening. Thank you ever so much for your support through 2024. It's been one heck of a ride this year. But thank you. Your support is always appreciated. These shows, they're free for you. They cost us a lot to put on in terms of time and effort and, you know, just wages. In order for all the things to be loaded, for us to do all the things, for all of the tech, for all the things, it's a big effort every time we come to air. So we do appreciate all of your support when you buy from us or you share our shows or anything like that. That's what keeps us on air, really. That's the crux of it. If you shop from us, we stay. If you don't, we go. It's as simple as that. So we are very, very grateful to all of you that have supported us in any small or large way. We are always incredibly, incredibly grateful for that. So thank you so very much. And we will see you in a new year. See you next year. Take care. Lots of love. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.